Hello, hello, and welcome to Sovereignty Rising. I'm your contrarian soul guide, Dawn, and today we're getting into one of the trickiest, most liberating conversations you'll ever have with yourself. How do I know what's actually my truth and what's just someone else's expectation, someone else's conditioning, someone else's map? Because let's be honest, we live in a world that's obsessed with giving you maps. 10 steps to success, 5 ways to manifest, a blueprint for love, a formula for healing. And here's the catch. Maps can be useful, but they're not yours. And if you don't know how to discern your inner compass from the noise, you'll end up living somebody else's life and wondering why you feel so disconnected from your own. So today we're going to talk about what intuition really is, why it gets drowned out, and how you can reclaim your ability to trust it. Welcome to Sovereignty Rising. Ditch the fear, embrace your flame. I'm Dawn Elgin, contrarian soul guide, visionary mystic, and creatrix of practical spiritualism. And this is the space where we strip away the fear, burn the old stories down, and reclaim the power that was never truly lost, just buried. Here, we dive into raw, unfiltered conversations on emotional healing, spiritual awakening, and the art of unlearning everything that keeps you stuck, small, and disconnected from your truth. Together, we rise like phoenixes. Flame first, fear last. Let's rise together. Welcome. I am so glad you are here. Today, we are talking intuition. We have it. We all have it. Here's the thing. Intuition is natural. It's the body's language for truth. It shows up as a whisper, a pull, a knowing in your gut, and your soul, your higher self, guiding you to keep you safe as well as flourish. But most of us have learned not to trust it or ignore it. We got conditioned out of it. As kids, when you said, I don't like that person, adults told you to be polite. When you felt scared or sad, you were told, don't be dramatic. When you wanted to follow your curiosity, you were told to be practical. I call this joy thieving. And little by little, you stopped listening to your body's compass and started listening to other people's maps. Contrarian truth, your intuition didn't leave you. You abandoned it for approval. So let's talk about the cost of following others' maps. Living from other people's maps is exhausting because it forces you to betray yourself. You take the job that looks good, but feels dead inside. You stay in the relationship that's fine, but not alive. You follow the spiritual formula that works for others, but leaves you numb. And then you wonder why you're anxious, why you feel disconnected, why nothing feels like yours. Because it's not. You've been outsourcing your truth. Even psychology research shows this. People who score higher in self-concordance, meaning their goals are aligned with their inner values, report higher satisfaction and lower burnout. Goals chosen for approval or status, they lead to emptiness. So what intuition really is? Let's set the record straight. Intuition isn't some mystical lightning bolt reserved for psychics. Intuition is the way your nervous system, your heart, and your body communicate alignment. It's the expansion you feel when something is true. It's the constriction you feel when something is off. It's the synchronicity that shows up when you're aligned. Practically, intuition is resonance. It's field intelligence. Spiritually, it's your soul whispering. It's guidance, leading you on your path. And the more present you are, the clearer the signal becomes. So your truth, intuition is not magic. It's remembering you are your compass. In our last episode, I shared with you my life's work I call Field and Form, the 12 laws of co-creation. I will run through them real quick and then talk about them in action with your intuition. You can always check out our last one to hear them in a little more depth. So the 12 laws. The first law is conscious creation is constant. So creation is not something you do. It is the very fabric of who you are. Every thought, emotion, word, and action is a brushstroke on the canvas of reality. Law 2 is as within, so without, magnetic resonance, or the mirror principle. So your inner field is not private, it's magnetic. Whatever you hold inside becomes the frequency you send out, and that frequency draws people, events, and opportunities that resonate with it. This isn't punishment, it's feedback. I often think of this law as well when we think of, from a spiritual point of view, an opportunity for our soul to bring something towards us, to bump into a trauma, so that we can bring it to the surface and deal with it, letting it go, rather than letting it continue to live there rent-free, continuing to live there as a squatter. All right, law 3. Presence equals power. This is time, space, and speed. So power only exists here and now. The past has already collapsed into memory. The future is still vapor. Only this moment holds life force. Your soul is an entity only of present time. This is the weight of the baggage becomes the weight for change. So WEIGHT, the weight of the baggage. So the traumas, the past that you insist on dragging with you, becomes the weight, WAIT, so it creates speed or time, and it takes that much longer for change, whether that's healing, growth, power, doesn't matter. True speed is presence. So when you're here, life accelerates because energy isn't leaking elsewhere. Law 4. Choice is participation. Every choice is a prayer. Whether you decide to respond with love or react with fear, you are casting a vote into the field. Every yes, every no, every thought indulged is participation in creation. Law 5. Alignment over control. Surrender is the strategy. So control is the great illusion. The more you grip, the more life slips through your fingers. Judgment, expectation, and the demand to know why narrow the field and block guidance. Curiosity, detachment, and trust expand it. Alignment isn't passive. It's fierce clarity about who you are and what matters most while surrendering the how and the when. Law 6 is the law of accountability, or radical self-responsibility equals sovereignty. So sovereignty begins where blame ends. Most people live in projection, blaming parents, partners, governments, even God. But the moment you reclaim authorship, you move from pawn to player. Sovereignty is not selfish. It is the only way you can serve others without resentment. I think of it as the law of, in this story, the princess saves herself. All right, law 7, cycles, spirals, and seasons. Life is not linear. It's cyclical. This law invites you to stop fearing endings and honor them as part of creation's rhythm. If you keep running from endings, you never harvest the wisdom of completion. Growth is not a straight climb, but a spiral staircase. Each turn gives you a higher vantage point. Law 8, unity of spirit and matter. There is no sacred profane split. Everything is God in drag. This law dissolves duality. Spirit and matter are one dance. Your job is not to escape the world, but to remember its divinity. Unity consciousness isn't abstract. It's lived when you honor every domain as spirit in form. Law 9 is the law of coherence. Intent plus emotion equals manifestation. So creation requires coherence. Intention without feeling is inert. Emotion without direction is chaos. Manifestation happens when mind, heart, and action align into one clear signal. When you become congruent, creation accelerates. Law 10. Service amplifies creation. Creation magnifies when it serves more than the self. But service is not martyrdom. True service includes yourself as part of the we. This law reminds you that the greatest creations are those that ripple outward, uplifting others. You are the most powerful when your personal vision serves the awakening of all beings. Law 11, the law of paradox. Life is full of reversals. Paradox is the language of transformation. What looks small may be vast. What looks like failure may be foundation. Paradox is not punishment, it's the portal. And Law 12, grace and guidance are cofactors. You are not creating alone. Coincidence is co-instance, a co-created instance. Your field aligning with a higher order. Guidance comes when you ask, when you listen, when you act on what you hear. Grace arrives in the cracks between your effort, carrying you where you couldn't push yourself. Now, here are the laws in action. Here's how the laws of field and form guide us back. So, as within, so without. Your outer world mirrors your inner frequency. If you're full of noise, your life will feel noisy. If you're aligned internally, synchronicity follows. And then radical self-responsibility. Nobody else gets to tell you what your truth is. Stop outsourcing your decisions. Own the signals your body is giving you. That intuitive hit, that gut instinct. And then grace and guidance. When you clear the static, guidance flows. Life meets you with synchronicities, nudges, opportunities that confirm your resonance. You don't have to beg for guidance. You just have to get quiet enough to hear it. Think of it like a whisper. Now, this is the perfect time for a quick commercial break and a word from our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by me. If you're ready to stop outsourcing your truth and start trusting your own compass, here's where we do the work. I have 2 coaching programs, aligned living, daily practices that help you return to your body's wisdom and discern your resonance from conditioning. And then soul alchemy, the deep transmutation of old stories and patterns so your intuition becomes your guide again, not your enemy. And if you're craving immediate clarity, my Aligned Oracle Guidance 3-pack gives you direct insight and practical tools to hear, trust, and act on your intuition. 3 sessions with me where we work on one area of your life you want to align. Links are in the show notes. Stop living someone else's map and start living yours. Welcome back to Sovereignty Rising. I'm your contrarian soul guide, Dawn, and today we are talking about intuition and the importance of listening to it rather than overriding it due to outside interference or self-doubt. We've talked about the 12 laws of field and form and what they look like in real time with your intuition. So now I want to share an embodiment practice, listening to the compass. So let's try it. Close your eyes if it's safe to do so, and place one hand on your belly and one on your heart. And take a nice deep breath in, slow and steady all the way down to your belly. And then exhale fully. Now bring to mind 2 simple phrases. First, I betray myself. Notice how your body responds. Tight? Heavy? Constricted? And now, I trust myself. Notice again. Just listening to those little whispers. Expansion, lightness, ease. This is your body's compass. This is intuition. It's been there all along. And let's anchor in this mantra. My body is my compass. I trust its wisdom. So here's the integration. Stop asking for someone else's 5-step map. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with reading books, taking courses, listening to guides, all those things. I've got a ton of them as free resources. However, as the Buddha said, question everything I say. The reason is when it's a deep truth, when it's one of these threads that flows through all of science, all of mysticism, then we can get there on our own. We can sense it. We can feel it. That's how we integrate. What I'm saying is stop giving your power to someone else and instead go ahead and look at that. But I want you to check in. Is that true for me? Is that true for me? And check, because it might be fear that pushes away. Oh, I'm scared. I don't want to try this. Or it could be because it's like, oh, that doesn't feel quite right. That's intuition. We need to listen to that. And we can do that by asking what feels expansive, what feels constricted. Stop outsourcing your decisions. Start honoring your inner signal, even when it scares you. And stop waiting for permission. Start living life as if your wisdom, your body's wisdom, is enough, because it is. Your truth, your intuition won't scream over the noise. You have to choose to listen. It whispers. So your mantra for this week is, I trust my inner compass. My truth is enough. Just feel that. And your reflection, where in my life am I still outsourcing my decisions? And what would shift if I trusted my own wisdom instead? Because sovereignty isn't about collecting more maps. It's about remembering you already carry the compass. This episode brought value to you. Please help me create a movement of field and form, where we support each other, help each other rise. Share this episode with a friend, with someone you know that maybe is ignoring their intuition, and this could really bring them some benefit. Share it on your socials so that we can create a movement together. Remember, I see the light in you, and it is freaking brilliant. And I so badly want you to see it too. You are not broken. You are not too much. You're remembering who you've always been. And this journey is just getting started. If today's episode lit something in you, hit follow so you don't miss what's coming. And if you're feeling it, leave a review. It helps with more soul-led women find this space. Want to go deeper? Come find me on YouTube, Facebook, our private Facebook community, The Awakening Circle, Instagram, TikTok, or at our website, practicalspiritualismco.com, for all the ways we can rise together. Not to worry, all those links are in our show notes. Until next time, stay sovereign, stay bold, and keep that fire lit.